What's up, everybody? St. R. Edwards here again. Welcome again to Ski Swift Coding for Everyone. So, in following along with app development with Swift, everyone can code. We're going to go on to section 1.2. All right. And in this first part of section 1.2, our objectives are to learn when to use variables and constants, and you know what they are, and we're going to learn how to declare them. And we're also going to talk a little bit about comments, comments on our code, just like here on our screen in the playground that we used. So here at the top, we'll continue on with the same playground that we had for section 1.1, or you can start a new one if you would like. But here at the top, you have a single line comment with the 2 forward slashes, and then you got your colon, and then your description, playground, noun, a place where people can play. That's a single line comment. Now, since we're using the same project, the same playground, I'm going to comment this out because the program runs from top to bottom, and it'll compile your code every time you do a print statement or something with some type of an action down here in the console. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a multi-line comment. So a multi-line comment is, the way you use it is you do a forward slash and an asterisk, and then at the bottom you do an asterisk and a forward slash, and that will comment that out. So it will no longer compile. So now we're going to talk about variables. There are two types of variables, right? So we got our variables to start with var, and we got our variables to start with let. Okay, so obviously the variables to start with var, those are the type of variables that can change in our code. And this is working with data. This is something that's very important as a programmer. You're going to be working with data all the time, and you have to determine what type of variables that you want to use the var keyword and others with a let. Okay, so for instance, let's say your age. So we can create a variable called var my age, and we'll say 31. All right. So your age is something that always changes, right? So let's say in a few months, now my age is equal to 32, all right? And that's fine because it's it's a var type of variable that's associated with that data that we put in it, the integer that we put in there, 31, 32, or whatever the case it may be for you. You can put your own age in it or whatever number you would like, whole number, and you can change it because it's with the var keyword. Now, if you were to go, and so let's print it. Let's just show this. So I'll print my age, and it won't do the 31 because I didn't call it for the 31. It actually changed, so it should just print 32. As you can see down here in the compiler in the console area, it just printed 32. All right. Now let's say something that doesn't change. Let's do an example for that. So we're going to declare a let variable, a constant, and let's say my name. So let my name equals. All right. So my name is Saint R, and I'll print my name. And you see what I used here? So in the Swift programming language, what you want to do is you want to write your variables so you make them descriptive. So it's easier for you to read and remember what they are. So it's easier for you to refer to them in your code, and also for those that may come behind you. Okay, so this variable is very, it's clear and it's concise. There's no guessing what this variable stands for or what it means, right? So my name. And also the way that I wrote it, instead of writing it all in one type of a way, instead of saying my name all in lowercase letters, it's easier to capitalize the second or the first word of the second, the first letter of the second word, excuse me, which is what they call camel casing in programming. So it's just easier to read and easier to discern, where the new word starts and all that stuff. Okay. All right. So we printed my name. It's down there in the compiler or down there in the console. Okay. So let's say I wanted the name change. So let's say my name is equal. It's now equal to Tom. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got an error. So let's see what this error says. So if we click over here, we'll see that it says the compiler is telling us cannot assign to value. My name is a let constant. Change let to var to make it mutable, and we can hit fix, and it fixed it for us, as you can see. So it was first let, now it's a var. It made it okay. All right. So sometimes Xcode will suggest fixes for you, and you can do that. It doesn't work all the time, but it does. With cases like this, and that's part of Swift's safetyness. It's a very safe language. And it wants you to do things the right way. So another way we can set up variables or test, how and when to use variables or constants is if we did something like this. If you were running a program and you had like a game or something, and there was like a default score. So let's say the computers. So let's say you were trying to create a game app or some sort, and you wanted to store some data in there and for the score. So you may have a default score, that will always stay the same. So that already tells you, what type of variable you're going to declare. It'll be a constant instead of a var. All right. So we'll say let default score, and we'll say equals 100. Okay. And then we'll say let. All right. So and then we'll say var user 1 score equals default score. Do that. So now, as you can see on the right side, our user 1 score, it equals default score, which is equal to what? Is equal to 100. And then we'll say var user 2 score equals default score as well. Okay. So that equals 100 as well. Now, in this situation, if the default score was always going to be 100, I mean, it can be any type of, it can be any name. It could be high score, whatever, or highest score. You can name whatever you want to. But the point is that user 1 score and user 2 score is, while it's currently the default score, it's not going to change, because as you're going along in the game, your score is going to increase, right? So you can print out, these variables. So you can print user 1 score, and then it'll print down in the console, and then you can do the same thing for user 2. So that's another way of another example. So that's another example of how and when to use variables, or type of variables, or and naming variables. You want to make sure you don't use mathematical symbols. You want to make sure that the variables don't have a space in them. And you also want to make sure that the name doesn't begin with a number. Okay. So besides that, you can do what you want. You can even use emojis if you like. So you can say var, and I used to know the shortcut to this, but yeah. So you can do that, var that equals all right. So you can use an emoji. So I just did that, and the next time we use that emoji, I'll just copy and paste it. So I'll say Command C, and then I can print it down here, so we can see it in the compiler. So if I print that, see, it says it down here, show me the money. That's what that means. So as long as it doesn't start with a number, as long as it doesn't have a space in it, and it's not a mathematical symbol, you can use it to name your variable. Okay. And that's it for now. Check out video 2 and more to come on Ski, Swift Coding for Everyone. Take care and be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys.